Rebecca once told someone that our kids barely knew me. She said it casually, like discussing the weather, as she sat in a luxury hotel suite with Ethan Morrison, a man I had considered a friend. I heard every word through my own surveillance system. They were in room 2847 at the Ritz-Carlton downtown. Rebecca wore a diamond bracelet I'd never seen before. Ethan had bought it with money he stole from our joint account. They laughed as they talked about the divorce they planned to blindside me with. Ethan said that once custody was settled, the kids would understand their father was never around. Rebecca nodded like she was discussing a business negotiation, not the dismantling of a marriage. My name is Carter Reynolds. I'm 42 years old. I own Reynolds Security Solutions. Before that, I spent 12 years in Army intelligence, 8 years married, 2 kids, Connor and Madison. I built my business from nothing into a multi-million-dollar firm. Rebecca and Ethan thought they could take it all and walk away. I met Rebecca at a charity dinner in Chicago. She was stunning, confident, raised in wealth. Her father was a U.S. senator, her mother a federal judge. She expected the best because she had always had it. I worked hard, and over time I gave her everything she wanted: the house, the cars, the lifestyle, European vacations twice a year. When the twins were born, everything changed for me. I worked harder than ever, so they would never worry about anything. For a long time, I thought Rebecca respected that. Then, in 2018, Rebecca began keeping secrets. Events I stopped being invited to. Phone calls that went silent when I walked into rooms. Then Ethan entered the picture. Charming, polished, well-dressed. Rebecca called him a business partner for her real estate developments. He became a regular at our house, brought gifts for the kids, expensive wine for dinner, and conversations that made me think we were becoming friends. What I didn't realize then was that every conversation was intelligence gathering. Every compliment was reconnaissance. In 2019, the marriage began to fracture. Little arguments became daily tension. Rebecca accused me of choosing work over family. The irony was laughable. Everything I worked for, every contract, every late night, was so she and the twins had the life they enjoyed. Yet she never once suggested cutting expenses or downsizing the lifestyle that required that work. Ethan, meanwhile, became almost part of the household. The kids adored him. I trusted him. I told him things about my clients and finances I shouldn't have. Not because I was careless, because I thought he cared. The breaking point came when I returned from a week-long emergency job for a tech company in Seattle. The kids barely reacted when I walked in. Rebecca looked at me and said, "They're not used to you being here anymore." That night, I decided to investigate rather than argue. Intelligence teaches 3 rules: never assume, never confront without proof, and never show what you know until the battlefield is set. It took less than a day to recover Rebecca's deleted files. The affair with Ethan had begun months before, but that was only the surface. Beneath was a coordinated plan to dismantle me legally and financially. They had been building a divorce case that would paint me as unstable, controlling, and dangerous. They planned to weaponize my military background and surveillance expertise against me. Rebecca's parents would help in court. Ethan would help frame my company as unethical. They'd take full custody of the kids, seize most of the business assets, and leave me with supervised visitation and a destroyed reputation. But they made a mistake. They underestimated my intelligence training. They forgot I spent over a decade studying how hostile adversaries think. So I went on the offensive. Cameras, audio devices, trackers, all installed without detection. 2 weeks later, I had everything. High-definition video of hotel meetings, recordings of their strategy sessions, financial statements showing Ethan draining accounts. He had opened offshore accounts in the Caymans and Switzerland. The total stolen, $340,000. He even booked a one-way first-class ticket to Monaco, scheduled for 2 weeks after Rebecca planned to file for divorce. His exit strategy was simple. Let Rebecca destroy me, then vanish with their stolen money. But there was darker leverage. A sealed court case from 2011 involving Rebecca's family. Her younger brother, drunk behind the wheel of his father's Mercedes, killed an entire family, mother, father, 2 daughters, ages 8 and 5, on their way home from a birthday party. Rebecca's mother, Judge Walsh, suppressed evidence, intimidated witnesses, and brokered a plea deal that sent him to private rehab instead of prison. Her father provided campaign donations that sealed the outcome. The Rodriguez family had spent 12 years trying and failing to get justice. I dug until the truth was irrefutable. Once the picture was complete, I waited. Let them make their move. Rebecca's lawyer slid divorce papers across the table with an arrogant smile. Full custody for Rebecca. Assets split in her favor. Alimony for 15 years. He warned me that judges would find Rebecca's evidence compelling, especially with her mother's informal influence. When he finished talking, I handed him a manila envelope and told him to give it to his client. The calls started within hours. Rebecca, first terrified, then Ethan, furious, then Judge Walsh, shaken. I laid out my terms: divorce withdrawn, full custody to me, Ethan gone, every stolen dollar returned, Judge Walsh resigning before I took everything to federal authorities. They thought I was bluffing. Then Ethan panicked and ran, cleaned out accounts, disappeared overseas, leaving Rebecca with nothing. I alerted an old Army contact at the FBI. Within hours, Ethan's accounts were frozen, and 2 days later, he was arrested in France, attempting to board a connecting flight to Switzerland. Rebecca signed everything: custody, asset, division, apology. Her family collapsed in days. Her mother resigned from the bench. Her brother was finally arrested on vehicular manslaughter charges. Her father retired from politics in disgrace. Ethan took a plea deal, and Rebecca, stripped of reputation and status, rebuilt her life far from the circles she once commanded. The twins live with me now. They're old enough to understand adults make mistakes, but they don't need to know the battlefield I fought for them. Business is thriving. Life is quieter, better. I coach Little League, make pancakes on Saturdays, help Madison with art projects. I'm present in a way I wasn't before, and I won't make that mistake again. Sometimes people ask if I regret destroying my marriage. I tell them, you can't destroy something that was already built on lies. Rebecca and Ethan didn't lose because I wanted revenge. They lost because they underestimated someone who spent years learning how to dismantle hostile threats quietly, patiently, permanently. Justice isn't about punishment. It's about protection. I protected my children, my business, and the truth. Rebecca answers phones at a small real estate office now. Ethan counts days in a federal prison cell. And I sit in my backyard, watching my children laugh, knowing exactly what I saved. Sometimes, the good guys win, not because they're lucky, but because they never stopped watching the battlefield.